Gentlemen, I have a question for the fellowship community at large. How did we get like this? Because, you see, some of you have pointed out on the previous videos that I haven't upgraded my gear, I haven't spent my resources, I haven't XYZ, right? Because there's this magical thing called scheduling videos. I know, it's a mythical concept, the fellowship players, that there's a back end to the YouTuber that you insult all the time. But a reason for that is because there's only 1,000 players online at the moment during peak time, because Fellowship is Fellowship, the game everyone seemingly abandons. But what makes me the most curious is yesterday, I decided to play one of my favorite games of all time, which is Vermintide 2. And Vermintide 2 is the exact same game. I'm gonna put it bluntly. It is the exact same game. You have multiple heroes to choose from on a hero selection menu. You then go into a random quick play game or a lobby browser. You find yourself a team, you pick whichever character is completely available, and you go in and you kill a horde of rats, which is the exact same as, Fellowship, right? Only difference with Fellowship is there's a timer, and there's a lot more toxicity. And in Vermintide, you go through, no timer, story mission, Barden and Corellian are talking shit the entire time. It's a great time. And at the end of it, you kill your boss, you get your one piece of loot, you open it, and it comes in a loot box with a little gambler's thing, and you can, actually, no, you get 3 pieces of loot per box. They're generous. They're a lot more generous than here. And generally, it's a good time. And from the little bit of Vermintide that I played, keep in mind, Vermintide, a game that came out 8 years ago, currently has more players than Fellowship at this exact moment. I had nothing but positive experiences. I had people after our run saying, "Have a good day." I had people, we would go down and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. Nice try, nice try. It happens, it happens." And I was like, "It's okay. I'm washed. Sorry, I'm coming back from a long time. It's whatever." And everyone was exceptionally wholesome. It was a great time. I was probably in higher difficulties than I probably should have been on some of the characters. But it was genuinely just quite nice. And then I look at my YouTube comments on the Vigil in particular, and I just kind of wonder, how the fuck did we get here? Like, no flame but flame. Like, why this game? Of all things, I have multiple YouTube channels. Some YouTube channels have been seen by up to 15 million people, okay? I have had to remove and or block more people for toxicity on Fellowship than channels with 15 million plus eyes on. You do realize how particularly special you have to be worse than 15 million people at large, right? That the level of concentrated assholery has to be on a different stratosphere to genuinely have more dealt with people on this channel than on all of my others put together. And I just want to wonder why. What is it about Fellowship that just brings out the worst in humanity? It's the peak of irony, is it not? A game called Fellowship, based around team gameplay, is full of some of the most narcissistic cunts I have ever had the misfortune of speaking to. And I just don't get how. What is it? If you're one of these people who flames every run, who leaves keys the moment there's a brick, that does all of this shit that is counterintuitive to the fucking name, indulge me. I'm sure you've left by this point because you're not one to be preached to, but indulge me. You love leaving comments of, rage-filled bullshit. Why pick this one? You could play a League of Legends. Oh, but I guess in League of Legends you're just a small fry in a big pond. I suppose here you get to have more of an impact. You get to directly ruin someone's day instead of being the 700th guy to ruin that guy's day. Suppose there's more viscera to it, But I don't get why in particular it's this one. Maybe it's that it's the amalgamation. I remember when I first started playing Fellowship, when I still had hope in my eyes, when I was still trying to do the fellow shillers and actually push this game to people, of which I sold probably hundreds of copies of this game to have those people go into solo queue to get called racial slurs by you dumb fucks. Unfortunately, back then, I believed in the name. I believed in what Hamish tried to sell, you know? And single-handedly, inch by inch, I have watched this game compromise every single value it has that they stated from the start as design decisions to accommodate a community that doesn't even like them. So, I'm just very perplexed as to how we've gotten here in particular. Is it because we don't have any lever penalties? And I was thinking about it the other day. And, you know, if you add lever penalties, the reason I think they don't add lever penalties is because 3/4 of their community are levers. So if they were to add lever penalties that were, say, like an hour long for leaving a match, you know what would happen? Those levers, the only people left playing Fellowship, would leave, get their lever penalty, and then go play a different game for an hour and probably not come back. So I think we're now at a point where the community is condensed down to nothing but a group of toxic levers who will perpetually leave the same keys until they get the perfect key, but because they're only surrounded by other toxic levers, they can't actually get a match, because the one guy queues in, realizes it's not his key, leaves. He queues in, it's his key, but for his other teammate, it's not his key, so he leaves. You see how we're just burning our favorite game all together simultaneously? You see how we're just taking something that we're supposed to love and just lighting it on fucking fire? I do not understand how something can have such a... how do I put it? Dedicated love mixed with immeasurable vitriol. I don't know if it's, you know, the developer's fault. I don't know if it's our fault. I don't know if it's just people at large. But it is genuinely perplexing to me how a small indie game with 1,000 active players at the moment of recording this video can manage to be more toxic than a League of Legends comment section. It is quite genuinely impressive to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I have thick skin. I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't give a fuck. You can say whatever the fuck you want to me. If it's a good insult, I'll pin you. Because honestly, game respects game. I have been on your side. I have insulted many, many, many people in my time. But of course, as a content creator, you do that publicly and you get pirate software. So unfortunately, you don't get to be a little bit of a shit when you're a public figure, but when you have an anonymous mask to hide behind, you can come up with some damn good jokes, can't we, gentlemen? And I can appreciate some good comedy. But the point of this video is just to ask, how did we get here? I mean, don't get me wrong, at large, I have met some fantastic people from Fellowship. The community is absolutely fantastic. I've met some potentially, like, maybe lifelong friends, we'll see. There's, from what I've found, when I go and I stream new games or what have you, I can go through, maybe 500,000 to 1 million people, and then out of that, I'll make a couple, like, lifelong stream viewers that are gonna stick around and turn up no matter what I play, and I appreciate you guys, something fierce. You guys are the absolute best. And it's always fun when they get to mix with the older people from, like, way back when. It's like a fucking Avengers crossover kind of episode. Oh, it's so much fun. But it just kind of perplexes me, genuinely, that we can love something as much as we do, and yet do everything possible to drag it down at every single interval we can. Because do we not realize how this ends? This toxicity and gatekeeping ends one way, and it's with the game's servers closing due to lack of players. And lack of players, yes, sure, will be the development team's fault. But at the same time, if it's like a fighting game, you know? To get into a fighting game, you have to get your ass fucking beat. You have to get washed before you get clean, right? Them's the rules, right? But those are fighting games. That kind of comes with the territory. You know what you're stepping into, you know? Whereas Fellowship was supposed to be this wholesome PvE casual game where you boot it up after work, do a couple of dungeons, get a couple pieces of gear, and go on with your day. And instead of that, like Crypto said on the recent season, Fellowship is now turned into a game where if you don't grind it giga degen hard for the first 2 weeks, you might as well not have bought it. Couple that with, I remember Hamish saying that they wanted the game to be in a way that, like, you see someone with cool gear, and you go, oh, how'd they get that? And then, you know, like the old vanilla World of Warcraft style. And then now we have transmog, so that doesn't make a difference at all. So, you see what I mean? Where they've compromised on every single design pillar they've said to accommodate a community full of gatekeeping toxicity that will kill them in the end. It's just, a bad marketing decision, I guess. Kind of the best way to look at it, I suppose. So, most people probably haven't made it to this point. You've all probably clicked off already when I called you a cunt the first time. But, you know, them's the rules around here. You guys call me worse. I'm allowed to probably say one or two back. Knowing my luck, probably not. YouTube will smite me from the top rope. But it's whatever. I don't give a shit. As for Fellowship, I'm probably putting it on ice for the moment. There's no way I can really particularly find a queue at this point. There's 1,000 people. Yeah, I play tank. I could probably make a group form around me. But, yeah, I don't really care to at the moment. I have other games I'm really enjoying. Vermintide 2 was an absolutely great time. I'm gonna probably pick up Darktide as well, which was looks pretty good from what I've seen as well. And I think if the day does come where the servers go down, I think what I'll probably do is the most peak irony thing possible. I think I will take the Vigil to the most wholesome game I own. And I'll see if I can convert you fuckers. I'll see if I can turn the toxicity into a little bit of wholesomeness. Or maybe you'll go cannibalize the next thing I love. Who knows? We'll see. Leave a comment down below. Call me a shitter as you usually do. And, yeah, you know how it is. Just leave a comment on how you think we got to this point. And as I said, if you're one of these people who perpetuates the thing that's going to kill your favorite game, do let me know why. Because all in all, I'm just curious how a game called Fellowship can wind up creating the exact opposite.